Hello there, my friends. Alright, we are now Luke Skywalker, sitting in the deleted scene in the cave outside Jabba's palace, ready to send our droids in, and we're adjusting our lightsaber. So how do we take this thing apart and diagnose it if there's anything wrong? Let's find out what's inside this thing. Okay, so there's 5 screws. There's 5 screws. They're 2mm screws. I think it's 2mm. Usually these things come with an Allen wrench. If yours didn't, take your lightsaber to the hardware store and let them find out what size these screws are for you. They would love it. Can you imagine walking to a Home Depot with a lightsaber? I mean, how cool is that, right? So, all right. These 2 screws, all they do is hold this. They're retaining screws for the blade, all right? So I can show you how to do that, but I already did a video that shows you how to do that. So I'll remind me and I'll link it below. But basically, this screws off. Okay, so if you hold this emitter, it comes off of the hilt. So you can take this, and you can see there's no electronics in there. It's just a tube. You take that and put it aside. This has all of your electronics. See, even if I start this thing up, you can see that the LED is right there. Everything's cool. So, I'm going to turn that off so it's not in my face. There you go. And while we're doing this, it's not going to be in your face either in the camera. So basically all that does is that leaves us with 3 screws. So there's this screw here, which is a set screw, and all that does is prevent this light assembly from going further down into the hilt. And then there are these 2 screws, okay? And there's the pommel. So let's say you have an issue with the light and you want to check the wiring. Well, you can't really pull this all the way out without pulling the wires. You don't want to stretch those wires too much. So what you have to do is you have to actually unhook these screws. And remember, it's lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, right? Left from the top, right from the top. Left from the top or counterclockwise. To loosen, clockwise to tighten. Or from the top. And you take those screws out. And this is what holds the entire sound card. It's basically, you would have a chassis. This doesn't really have a chassis. But this is just held into place. It holds the screw, the recharge port, and the sound card. And when you'll see in a second. Because what happens is when you take this off, and these are tiny parts, so make sure you have a piece of paper you can see things on, to like line them up. Next, you unscrew the pommel. That's the part with the holes in it where the sound comes out. And usually the speaker is mounted in here. So take the wires very gently. You can push from the top, and you can pull from the bottom. I got this little piece of foam there. It's kind of a spacer, I guess. And then the next thing you're going to see is the battery. Now you can gently take the battery and pull. And make sure that the switches aren't getting caught here. Just pull, pull, pull. Actually, I'm going to turn this around because I like doing it this way better. Oh, I'm sorry. So, yeah, I already told you that this retaining screw is here so that the light won't sink in here. So you have to unloosen that retaining screw. Not all the way like I did. Let's put that back so that we don't lose it, because this is the tiniest part of the whole thing. As you can see, you can even like tighten that by hand. So that allows the light diode LED to come all the way out. And then when you get here, you can see this is just a hollow tube with a screw in it. Just a hollow tube. Okay, a couple holes cut out in it. This is your lightsaber. This is the guts of the lightsaber, right? So what you got here is you got the light, You got the wires that hook it up to the soundboard. The soundboard. The soundboard also is all the electronics. It controls the light, controls the color selection, it controls the sounds. All right. There's your speaker at the end. So what you want to do is you want to check for any loose wires here. There's no loose wires, right? The switch is connected directly to the soundboard. So is the recharge port. You can see they're using white glue to hold this stuff in place. This little connector here might come loose. That's been glued down real well in this particular model, but not all models, I'm sure. And then here you can see there's even white glue in the speaker so that that holds those wires in place. And then here's your battery. Okay, so that's all there is to this. So you can do some diagnosis. You can see if any of these wires are loose. You can repair them. You could even replace the battery. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to put this all back together. So light goes first, right? Then this is the essential part. We're going to have to line this up with these holes. So kind of face that in the general right direction so that you're going to make this easy for yourself. Slowly thread this back in. Use the battery to push it up. You can actually see the assembly going up, right? And then at some point you should see the switch come up. And we're close, and then just use your finger to like pull it over to a good spot. All right. So now I'm going to take this there, put that back in, screw in my pommel. Or end cap, if you want to call it that. On a sword, it's called a pommel. Alright, that's in place. Now, here's the fun part. Okay, this is the part where you do actually need a tool. Needle nose pliers. And these things are like $5 at the hardware store. Super easy to get. Just grab that little stem there where your recharge port is. Gently. And pull this into place. Okay, like so. Now, what that's going to do is it's going to line up this hole. There's a hole in the assembly. It's going to line it up with the hole in the case. Then you're going to just screw this silver screw in here, and you'll know it's in there because you're going to pull up on it, and it's going to actually connect. It's going to pull up on the whole assembly. So once that's lined up, you do the same thing with the other one. Gravity can be your friend here. Screw that one in, pull on that. You know that's in there good and tight. Now you can let go. And that's in there real good. So you take your wrench, tighten it up. And that'll move this entire soundboard recharge switch into place. Very little effort. Okay. Push down on your LED. Well, not too far, because you want this retaining screw here. I would prefer it if it grabbed something, but if you over tighten it, it's going to fall into the hilt. So I'm not going to do that. It's going to tighten this flush. And basically, all this is doing is it's giving something for the light to butt up against, so that when you screw the emitter and blade back on, that LED stays in between them and is in place. Now I can shake this saber. I don't hear anything. Everything's tight. Alright, here's the big test, Luke. Let's fire it up. Alright, it's on. Alright, good. Now I'm going to do one more thing, because I have this in mute mode, and I just want to make sure. Excellent. So I have sound. All right, so I hope that helps you. That showed you how to take apart your lightsaber so you can diagnose it for problems. And now you know what's inside one of these things. I hope this helped you. If it did, smash like. That helps me so much. And please subscribe to the channel because, you know, we're creating a community here where we help each other and we solve each other's problems. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. See if you can help somebody else without getting caught. Talk to you next time, folks.